6 Eugene schools could be shutting down due to a massive budget deficit. Good evening. I'm Kate Renner.
And I'm Brandy Smith. 4J Superintendent George Russell last night unveiled his plan to try and balance the district's budget, and it could have a major impact on thousands of people. The plan is tonight's top story at 5. Here's a look at these 6 schools that could be shut down. We have a map that we're going to show you here in just a moment. There it is. Coburg Elementary is in the city of Coburg. It has 116 students. 263 kids go to Crest Elementary in South Eugene. Parker Elementary is also in South Eugene. It serves about 260 students. Meadowlark Elementary near Sheldon High has 200 students. Twin Oaks Elementary is in West Eugene. It has about 216 kids that go there. And Family School on 22nd near Chambers has 147 students.
So where would all the kids go? Several schools would have to shift to K through 3 and 4 through 8 models. Adams, Bertha, Holt, Cesar Chavez, Edgewood, and McCormick elementary schools would all go to K through 3. The Arts and Technology Academy at Jefferson and Spencer Butte, Kennedy, and Monroe middle schools would all become 4 through 8 schools.
On top of all that, Russell also proposes eliminating 100 teachers, cutting 62 administrative jobs, negotiating a 5% reduction in salaries, cutting 6 school days, and cutting athletics and extracurricular activities by 25%. And those are just a few of the cuts and changes proposed in the plan.
4J Superintendent George Russell says he's saddened by the cuts as he proposed last night and says trimming $30 million off the budget is no easy task. Russell says he made the cuts he thought were necessary, but says every resource the school loses affects the kids.
This is cutting away at stuff that we can't really afford to cut because it really does cut into the educational program that we provide for our kids.
The public will have a number of opportunities to weigh in on their opinions in the upcoming weeks. 4J will hold a public hearing Tuesday, November 16th, and another at their board meeting on November 17th. The superintendent will present final recommendations in December, and the school board will make a final decision in January.
Parents, teachers, principals, they're all reacting differently to the news. We have team coverage of the cuts beginning in Coburg. KEZI 9 News reporter Susan Gager is live at Coburg Elementary School with reaction there. Susan?
Here at Coburg Elementary, teachers and parents are bracing for the worst. The principal here says the 4J school district has faced cuts for years. Still, parents and faculty say they pride themselves on their tight-knit school district in tiny Coburg. The 116 students there would have to attend Gillum Elementary School in Eugene if closed. Parents and faculty here say the proposed closures don't come as a surprise, but the news is still hard to swallow.
This is a great school. My son's a 5th grader, and my daughter's going to go in kindergarten, but we're being proactive and we're seeing what we can do about keeping our school open.
Well, I think when we look at what's happening with Coburg, it really is about community and families.
Faculty have met with parents all along to discuss budget cuts to devise a backup plan. They say if their school closes, they will propose opening a charter school for the area. Coburg Elementary says their special proposal will need to be turned in by December 15th, which is actually much earlier than what's expected. George Russell has set a deadline for January, and so they have to get it in before that time. Live in Coburg, Susan Gager, KEZI 9 News.
Also on the chopping block, the Family School, which is housed in the Arts and Technology Academy in West Eugene. KEZI 9 News reporter Heather Hinsey brings us reaction from that charter school.
The Family School isn't your typical neighborhood school.
I felt it was really important for them to be in a group of kids whose families felt that eating organically, treating the earth well, and significantly limiting media was important for kids to have a healthy development with healthy self-esteem.
Right now, the Family School and Arts and Technology Academy, or ATA, are in the same building. Under the proposed cuts, Family School students kindergarten through 3rd would be moved to Cesar Chavez Elementary, and Family School students 4th through 8th would merge with ATA. At the same time, ATA students kindergarten through 3rd would be moved to Adams Elementary. The school's principal says if all that happens, he'd like to see the ideals of the Family School continue.
There's a lot of value to the Family School program that I would want to see that we would try to integrate some of those components with, whatever school is left here.
Parents say they're disappointed their kid may move to another school, especially since they specifically chose the Family School to meet their child's needs.
This would be a humongous loss to families like ours who can't afford to send our children to Waldorf, can't afford private school, but don't really want an education which has a heavy media center.
In Eugene, Heather Hinsey, KEZI 9 News.
Meadowlark Elementary is also one of the 6 that may have to shut its doors. KEZI 9 News reporter Gia Vang is live there with reaction from the parents and principal. Gia?
Well, Brandy, parents had a lot of questions for the principal here at Meadowlark Elementary School because the plan proposes shutting it down and shifting its students to some nearby schools. Now, the plan calls for sending some Meadowlark students to Holt Elementary. Holt would become a K through 3rd grade school. Meadowlark 4th and 5th graders would move to Monroe, which would become a 4 through 8 middle school.
Children just aren't ready. They're not emotionally mature enough to mix with the 2 middle school areas. And so that is a concern of mine.
It's not going to allow for a really fluid stream of leadership for the parent organizations.
I feel confident that the school board will make the right decision for our region and for our school.
Now, the plan also calls for the Buena Vista Spanish Immersion School that shares a building with Meadowlark to become a K through 8 school and stay here at the building. Now, as for the combined staff of 30 both at Meadowlark and Buena Vista here, the principal tells us that they are working with the HR department to figure out a plan to deal with this possible enormous shift. Live in Eugene, Gia Vang, KEZI 9 News.